It's an exciting day. We are happy to be here and sharing many of our experiences po, no? So we will have two lectures for today. One about the journal policy, centering on um, what we do at the Philippine Journal of Fisheries. And the other one is talking about the predatory journals and predatory conferences. Now, initially po, we did think about this as an activity internal po no, sa NFRDI, capacitating our folks and researchers and staff in NFRDI. Kaya lang, eventually minabuti po namin na i-share itong lecture na to everyone kasi we felt na very timely and I think would be very helpful sa ating lahat, ano, especially those that are going into scientific careers. So, with the help nila Ma'am Norvi, hi Ma'am Norbs, ang kanyang team sa training section ng NFRDI, ay inalagak po natin to sa Fishkwela format. So, thank you Ma'am Norvi, thank you to the TS team, and also of course, thank you sa ating mga participants, more than 1,200 of them, on joining us, no, and helping us also to advocate these kinds of information, very important information for all of us. And it's one way of also exercising our mandate sa NFRDI, no, of sharing important and significant information and technologies that we do develop for the benefit of all of us, especially the Filipino people. So thank you very much, everyone. All right. So allow me to share my screen now. All right. Now, nabanggit kanina, ayan, baka po dun sa mga hindi pa nakakaalam, no? Baka minsan naririnig nyo na natatawag po akong Dr. Pogi, ano po. So it's actually because of this fish na banggit na ni Lay, no? This fish was named after yours truly, Chelidoporca santosi, but not the santosi is not the most important part of that. But actually, it's the official English name that was given to it, Pogi Perchlet. Ayan. Ano po? So, for those na hindi pa ito narinig, ano po, if somebody in the near future, marinig nyo na sinasabing, bakit niya sinasabing Pogi siya ay hindi naman siya Pogi? Pwede niyo na po siya lang sabihan na hindi kasi pinangalang isda sa kanya na pangalan ay Pogi Perchlet. Okay po ba yun? Pwede po ba ako makakita ng thumbs up? Ayan. Alright? Alright. Now, pero pag may narinig naman po kayong nagsabi na bakit niya sinasabing Pogi siya, talaga naman siyang super Pogi. Ano po ang gagawin natin? Huwag na po kayong kikibo. Mag-agree na lang po tayo. Okay po ba yun? Pwede? Pwede. Oh, wow, maraming. Hindi ko alam kung na-stress ba sila Lay dito o umiiyak sa tawa. Ano ba itong mga emoji na iba dito? Alam ko lang yung thumbs up tsaka yung heart. Anyway. Alright. Sige, 234 na tayo. Dami. Thank you everyone. Alright. Now, I do have my Facebook page. Nabanggit nila ito. It's the Doc Muji page. No? This one way, one of my ways of doing science advocacy through social media. Around 14,000 followers. We just had 14,000 followers a couple of days ago. So super excited with this one. So I do hope you like and follow and share also this page to everyone and join us in this advocacy part. No? Ayan. All right. Now, into more serious stuff. Again, as I mentioned kanina, this first lecture will be about journal policy and ethics. Now, the way I'm going to frame or contextualize this lecture is that I'm not going to sort of take, I did not read through a lot of ethics policy books, etc. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to center our discussion on the actual journal policy and ethics ng the Philippine Journal of Fisheries, right? So doon, kung ano yung nakapublish dyan na publication policies, yun po yung ira-run through natin. And then, discuss things that are related directly or indirectly to those certain types of policies. And I'm sure later on we'll have very good discussion on these aspects. Ano po? So again, I've contextualized this lecture into discussing around the actual the Philippine Journal of Fisheries policy, publication policy, and ethics. Ano po? So I'll go directly to that and not dwell on much of about context and stuff like that, right? Sige po. Now, the Philippine Journal of Fisheries, you can find that in www.nfrdi.da.gov.ph/tpjf. No? And we are very proud to say that it's one of the leading journals in the country. Initially, in this slide, what you can see, yan po, no? Ito po yung aming website. And dito sa kanan, makikita nyo kung ano na more or less yung ating indexing nagawa, ano po? Or saan na po tayo na index. And again, please feel free to survey or look at this website ng PPJF. So, of course, naka-index na po tayo sa Scopus about 4-5 years ago, sa DOAJ, sa CABI, Aquadocs, and ASEAN Citation Index. So, ang ibig sabihin yan, ano po, in a way, what we are saying, if you are indexed in these indexing platforms, parang ISO po yan, na you're at par with the standards, no, the world standards of publication. Kasi marami pong mga compliance po na kailangan gawin dyan. At pag may mga hindi po tayo na-comply doon, hindi po tayo may index dyan sa mga international indexing platforms na yan. So, again, in a way, we are actually at par with the world in terms of publishing, no? Patungkol sa mga publication office, right? Now, as I've said, number 4 po ang ranking ng the Philippine Journal of Fisheries as of now in the country, no? And this is provided for by the Scopus platform. So, ayan. Number 1 would be yung WPSAR, and then yung Asian and Pacific Migration Journal, and Journal of the Association Federation of Endocrine Societies. And number 4 would be the Philippine Journal of Fisheries. That means, again, this is an indicator wherein it's saying that PPJF and many of these journals, not only are they compliant with the Scopus indexing platform, but also it's actually rated high pagdating po sa ranking within the Philippines. So we're happy to share that information with you. And we don't stop there. We are really striving for how we can really still improve the Philippine Journal of Fisheries into making it one of the leading, if not the leading journal in the country and even ranking in the world stage. So yeah. Kasi nabanggit po kanina yung credibility dun sa expectation, and I think this is one indicator on how credible the Philippine Journal of Fisheries is. Now, as a quick story for you guys, the TPJF, actually 1950s pa po yan nag-start, 1951 to be exact, when nandito pa po yung mga Americans. And initially, there was a boost of publication. Very active sila noon until the early 1960s. Kaya lang medyo nawala, and in most cases marami po dito sa pagkawala nung sa circulation ng journal. What we have seen is one reason is that there's changes in management such that the focus shifts and hindi na masyadong naasikaso yung journal publications. And then 1970s, ayan, umakyat na naman yung publication work. And I have a feeling it's because of the commitment of some of the scientists during that era to publish here. And as you can see, 1977, nag-publish pa nga si Professor Ken Carpenter dyan and si National Scientist Angel Alcala. And then nawala na naman siya, lumitaw 1980s, early 1990s, and then for a long time namatay ulit. And then by 2016, 17, no, when NFRDI was sort of, I think it's in its 17th year as an NFRDA, but only on an interim capacity. Ano pa lang kami noon, parang maliit na division pa lang ng BFAR. There was a push from management and from all of us to really revive the TPJF. Ano po? And with the help of the initial people who took on the mantle of trying to revive it, and then they put the sort of the leadership in my care in 2016, and with the help of many people, colleagues, and research assistants, we were able to chart the new pathway of TPJF. At kung mapapansin nyo po, from 17, 18, 19, it continued to prosper, again, with the help of many colleagues, especially our editorial board members, yung mga nagsasubmit sa journal, and many other people that I could not name anymore because there's so plenty of them. And then until such time that yun nga po, na napa-index na natin siya by starting with 2019, 2020, 2021, etc., etc. And we're continuing to have it indexed more in other indexing platforms. So just to show you some snapshot of the story of TPJF, and I do hope for all of you who are listening here that has interest in terms of not only scientific publication but forming, developing publishing offices. I do hope this will serve as an inspiration for you guys on how we were able to do it. Kaya dito sa Pilipinas. And we're very willing to provide mentorship as part of aming work. NFRDI, in fact, we have been mentoring a number of journals na po, and trying to shepherd them towards also indexing and also being able to be more productive itong ating mga journals, journal publishing offices natin sa Pilipinas. Marami po sila. Magagaling, kaya lang kailangan lang po ng konting push. And sabi ko nga sa mga lectures ko for this one, importante yung technical side, but it's equally important yung administrative side. Yun ang medyo nakikita kong hindi natututukan. Puro technical ang tinitignan ng mga nagmamanage o yung mga naatasang mag-ayos ng mga journal nila. So, just keep that in mind. Equally important yung administrative side of things. And dito, pag-uusapan natin, yung administrative side actually, yung development ng policy and ethics. Hindi yan scientific in a sense, hindi yan technical writing, for example, hindi yan scientific writing, but it's an administrative thing. So, that's very, very important. Kasi po, pagdating sa indexing, sa totoo lang, yes, merong tinitignan na compliance on regularity, yung pinapublish, but ang based on our experience, malaking tinitignan na bagay kung naaayon ba yung ating mga journal policy and ethics na nakapublish sa website, mga ganyan. Otherwise, hindi rin po siya papasa kahit ang dami-dami po natin napapublish. Alright. Tignan natin dito, may chat. Okay, sige. Retest. Alright. Now, just to acknowledge some of the folks sa ating pagde-develop ng TPJF, of course, yung editorial board members, marami po sila, hindi ko na mapakita. You just go to the website and then makikita nyo po yung mga pangalan ng mga Filipino scientists and foreign scientists who helped develop the journal. And marami sa mga polisiya ng journal, ay hindi po actually, or yung mga policy ng journal, hindi po nanggaling lang sa akin po yun. Meron po kaming input, may input ako doon, may input yung office, may input yung aming mga staff, pero marami doon input po ng editorial board members natin ng TPJF. Because at the start pa lang, we really asked them to be onboarded, not only as a reviewer, not only as a person na magsasubmit ng paper, but more of actually having an ownership of the journal and developing all aspects of it, including the system and including yung policy. In fact, up to this date, kasama po sila sa kinoconsult namin patungkol sa mga decision on mga bagay related sa policy, for example, sa withdrawal, etc., etc. So, mag-uusapan po natin yan. And of course, yung ating mga managing editors, si Sai, no? Si MC, now si Vane, si Ma'am Rita, yung aming education section chief, and many people. And of course, yung aming executive director, si Dr. Lilian Garcia, kung saan nag-emanate po yung main authority ng NFRDI kasi siya bilang executive director, under niya po yung journal. Ano po, kung wala po yung support ng mga nila po, ay mahirapan po mag-develop ang TPJF kung saan nandun siya ngayon. Ano po, ayan. Alright. Now, so sa mga topics na i-discuss natin, Lay, mga ilang minutes pa ba ako for this lecture?
Meron ka pa po, Doc, mga 15.
15. Okay, sige. Bilisan natin ng konti. Yes. Alright. Okay. We'll run through with this one. Ayan. So, meron tayong mga 12, in a way, topics, which actually you can find sa TPJF website. And we'll just expound yung mga entries po dito. Again, dito po iikot yung ating kwento. Of course, number 1 would be yung general guide, no? Which, as you can see here, isa sa importanteng aspeto ng isang journal is that nakaspecify yung scope nila, no? And in our case, ang focus siya sa fisheries, both in basic and applied science. Ano po? So, this what makes it a little bit different with many of the journals sa Philippines and others from abroad. Yung iba medyo malawak yung scope. In this case, in TPJF, we made it a point because of the nature of the publication, it's under NFRDI, and before it's under BFAR. So nakatutok po siya sa fisheries. But even then, although it's centered on the fisheries, ang lawak po ng fisheries actually, as you can see in the related fields. Dito sa baba, capture fisheries, may aquaculture, post-harvest, marketing, biotechnology, systematic, socio-economics. So pag may nagtatanong po, what kind of paper will you be accepting, you just go to the general guide and look at the scope. So ang scope niya po in general ay fisheries and related fields, no. In a way, pag binabanggit ko nga po 'yan, parang pag may tubig 'yan o related sa tubig, ay pwede 'yan, no. Of course, hindi po pwede yung purely, for example, pinag-uusapan natin insect sa coconut, parang hindi na po siya masasama sa scope. Pero kung if we're going to talk about or submit a paper about an insect that lives on water, something like that, or part of its life cycle in the water, then pwede siya pumasok sa scope ng PJF. So that's one sort of unang policy na makikita niyo sa PJF. And then of course, it's very important, again, nakaspecify ito doon sa ating website, yung originality ng work, ano po. So, make sure, no, when you do write papers, no, and publish it, no, make sure na hindi siya previously published elsewhere, nor is it submitted partly or wholly in any other journal. So, second rule, second sort of advice, ano po, wag po kayong hindi po uubra na sabay kayo nagsasubmit ng paper sa isang journal. General rule po yan. Kailangan one at a time. Kung ano siya, na reject, then you can transfer to another one. Pero hindi po sabay kasi hindi po allowed yun. And specific to TPJF, hindi po talaga po allowed yun, nakaspecify po sa ating policy yun. Kasi nga, iniiwasan yung magduduplicate, for example, yung work published. Tapos, of course, it goes without saying, should contain accurate information and properly cite all sources. So, basic po ito. Ano po? And kailangan, ano po, it's not based on fraudulent data. Right? So, meron pong assumption na lahat po na isasubmit natin is not dinoktor, hindi po dinoktor yung data natin, no? Kasi alam nyo naman po yan, bawal po yun. Ano po, pag nalaman at may nakitaan na um, uh, fake news yung inyong data, pwede pong i-retract po yan ng journal. And then mamaya makikita niyo po anong pwedeng mangyari pag ng retraction. Masasabi ko na po, una pa lang, wag na po natin gagawin yan kasi pag nangyari yan, yung retraction, malalagay din po yan sa journal, maa-access po yan forever. Hindi na po mawawala yung tatak na yun sa inyo. So please, no? Wag. Naalala nyo, may mga Nobel Prize winners na nagdoktor ng data nila, na-embarrass sila, na-shame, yung credibility nila talagang nawala. Yung iba nga, because of that, nagpakamatay pa. So, please, no? Again, as part ng ating ethics, please do not use fraudulent data. And nakaspecify po yan sa TPJF. Now, peer review process, tignan natin. We do have a peer review process na nire-require po ng indexing platforms like ng Scopus. Na pag wala po ito, hindi po pwede. So in our case, in TPJF, no, meron po siyang tier 1 assessment, which is yung ako po yun, no, kasama ko po yung managing editor and some other staff, no. Pag nag-submit sa amin, will undergo preliminary evaluation. Minsan po yan, pag hindi siya pasok sa aim, sa scope, o adherence to sa journal format, and at a certain length, for example, we feel na medyo the data in itself is not enough or something like that, then pwede siyang diretsong rejection na. But then, pag pumasa dun sa first review or assessment nung editor-in-chief, then it goes to the managing editor and it undergoes a process of double-blind peer review by at least 2 independent experts in the particular field. Okay, so pinapadala po yan sa mga peer reviewers, no? 2, minsan 3. And then, double blind po siya. So, hindi nagkakaalaman po yung mga reviewers, no? But although kami mga editor-in-chiefs, ano, of course, alam namin yun kung sino yung mga nag-submit kasi nga kailangan namin ipadala kung saan. And then, in the case na 2 reviewers may contradicting evaluations, ano po, for example, yung isa pasado, yung isa hindi, no? What we usually do, we send it to a 3rd reviewer. Siya yung tiebreaker po. So you have to know about this kasi po, at this point, journal submission and approval ay ano po yan, in a way subjective, depends on the reviewers, ano po, kung ano po yung expert opinion nila. So minsan, hindi magkapareho yung assessment nila, minsan pasa, yung isa hindi, then a 3rd review will be consulted. And then, eventually, final decision po would be, is vested on the editor-in-chief. Ano po? Kung ano po yung mangyayari eventually dun sa journal submitted. And then, of course, the reviewers are prohibited to show the manuscript under review. Another person or use of the information contained therein. So, meron pong policy na hindi po pwedeng ano yan, parang may non-disclosure agreement po. Although we don't issue that one kasi medyo ano po yan. Basta nakastate po ito sa ating policy na yung mga reviewers po ay hindi pwedeng ipakita kung kani-kanino yung review nila. I guess for most, if not all of the reviewers knows this thing as a rule of thumb. Okay? And then, dinagdagan po namin kasi nga merong mga researchers sa BFAR and FRDI researchers, no? We make sure na hindi taga BFAR and FRDI yung mag-review ng kanilang mga paper for transparency. We do publish the TPJF submission workflow and the number of days. You can just visit po yung website to look at these things, ano po, dun sa website. I included this one. Again, this is also published in our website so that for future reviewers here, and of course, yung mga authors later on, more or less you can see ano yung mga tinitignan ng or guidance namin sa mga reviewers, anong titignan nyo para ma-accept or ma-deny yung submission. So kung kayo po yung authors, no, you have to make sure that you are able to answer many of these questions, ano po, kasi in most cases ito po yung hahanapin nila. yung sufficiency ng background, for example, na nakalagay sa introduction. Nakaspecify ba, klaro ba yung objective, your hypothesis ng papel, no? Kailangan kitang-kita yun sa introduction, no? Hindi po pwedeng malabo kung ano yung objective or yung research question ninyo. Hindi po pwede kasi doon po re-reviewin yung inyong paper kung sumasagot siya doon sa research question. Pag medyo malabo po yung inyong objective, hypothesis, or research question, ang tendency niyan, maguguluhan yung reviewer, malamang marireject yung paper ninyo. And of course, yung method, sufficient ba to address the objectives? Technically, ano ba, okay ba, compliant ba yung method na specify para masagot yung hypothesis. And then the results, no, reviewers will look in terms of your presentation, statistics, no, figures, no, tables, and of course, it helps yung quality ng figures and tables. Adequate ba? Standalone ba yan? Meaning, yung mga pictures nyo ba, high resolution? Tinitignan po rin lahat yan. Although not much weight in terms of the content, pero kasama po yun sa packaging. Ano po? Please remember that. Parang, in a way, this is your product na binebenta nyo sa mga reviewers na para niya bilhin. No? And to do that, number one, of course, yung content, yung research question, yung method, and then yung results. But even the packaging really matters. Kasi kung ang gulo-gulo nung write-up, maganda nga yung research question, hindi naman maintindihan, problema din po yun. No? Remember, yung review process kasi is subjective. Expert opinion na po yun. Depende na po sa nagre-review. And then discussion po, no? Where the results properly interpreted, compared, no? Limitations, implications of the study. So again, titignan nyo po yan when you do write a paper kasi yan din po yung pinapa-review sa isang journal. And this one is a guide. So copyright and permission. Sa TPJF po, no, it's an open access journal. Ano po? And then index na po tayo dun sa Directory of Open Access Journal. May compliance din po tayo dun in terms of parameters. And then we do adopt yung Creative Commons license, no, for research. It's a free license. It's a community license, if I may, which promotes access and reuse of scientific and scholarly research. So dito po, ina-apply itong Creative Commons license even sa nature or sa science. No po? So sa TPJF, ang license po natin, iba-iba klaseng pong license yan, yung CC or Creative Commons BY-NC 4.0. No? So ang ibig pong sabihin yan, pag nag-submit kayo sa TPJF, ito po yung standard license niya under CC BY-NC 4.0, ina-allow nyo po yung reusers to distribute, remix, adapt, and build upon the materials in any medium or format for non-commercial purposes only. And that provided that attribution is given to the creator. So, ibig sabihin, pag meron pong pinablish kayo sa TPJF, and then may kumuha, and then ginamit niya for commercial purposes, protected po kayo ng CC-BY-NC4 license, and you can sue actually that person or company that used your paper kasi nga naka CC-BY-NC 4.0 license po tayo. Gets niyo po 'yon? Is that clear? And then kailangan po na-attribute po yung creator. Ano po? So, yan. Now, if mayroong novel method o new technology and feeling nyo kulang yung CC-BY-NC 4.0, pwede naman kayong mag-request sa amin ng additional license, no? Under the Creative Commons. You just go to their website, Creative Commons, and doon po nakaspell out yung iba't ibang license. Meron pong mas mahigpit pa na license, yung talagang hindi niya pwedeng gamitin. Pwede naman po yun. You'll just request us. But yung standard ng TPJF is yung ito nga, CC-BY-NC 4.0. Ito yung medyo general license usually na ginagamit. Okay. And then, sa TPJF po, no, the authors retain the copyright, no, publish articles without restrictions. No, so ibig sabihin sa inyo po 'yan, sa inyo. Hindi po 'yan sa TPJF, hindi po 'yan. Lahat po ng copyright ay sa inyo. And then kaya nga po naka-license din sa inyo. TPJF only provides the platform, the venue for you to have your work published and be known to the public para kung ano man yung makita nila doon magagamit po nila. Alright? Kasi yun naman po isang mandato natin, mandato ng NFRDI, is to yun nga spread itong mga information na to for the use of the Filipino people. Pero yung particular doon sa copyright, nasa sa authors po yun. Alright? And then, yan. Authors who desire to include previously published figures and tables, excerpts in their papers must seek permission, no, from copyright owners, no? Ayan. So, again, I guess this is standard, no? Wag po tayong gagamit ng mga, ng mga copyrighted na material. Like may paper kayo, ginamit niyo yung figure niya, dapat explicit po na pumapayag yung kayo kung na pinagkunan ng figure na yun, na gamitin to another one, no? Ayan. So, nakalagay po lahat yan. Now, ito medyo tricky itong next topic na to, yung authorship. Ito laging maraming tagtatanong dito pagdating sa mga discussion and focus groups. Okay. So all authors must have contributed substantially to the research and in the preparation of the manuscript. The corresponding, so for submission of each revision, right, of the paper, any author should change, the corresponding author must have received permission from all the authors, right? So, ang ibig sabihin po nito, again, may nakamark na corresponding author. Siya po yung kakausapin ng journal kung may mga nuance dun sa submission or dun sa paper. Whether it's changes in the authorship or, for example, addressing a certain complaint, sa corresponding author po yan. Kaya po merong corresponding author. So, in a way, yung accountability, it lies on the authors, of course, but merong extra sort of accountability yung corresponding author. Yung kadalasan yung corresponding author, ito po yung binabanggit na yun siya yung may accountable dun sa whole project kung paano ginawa yung papel. Usually mga project leaders po ito or yung mga heads ng laboratories kasi nga sa kanilang purview yun. Right? Now, ang tanong next paano ba natin paano mo nyo i-include na ang isang tao as author? Okay, yun ang isang mga palaging tanong paano yung percentage ba yon ng work na ginawa niya or what, no? So, at the outset, ganito po yan. Yung authorship, of course, bottom line, it depends on the institution or the country kung meron po kayong approved and established guidelines for authorship, no? So, nasa sa inyo po yun. So, importante po kung member kayo ng isang organization or SUC, for example, kailangan may authorship kayo policy. Kasi that will safeguard the institution and yung mga authors within that institution. Believe me, importante po yan, lalo na pag nagkaroon ng mga aberya. Ano po? Now, in TPJF, of course, hindi natin pwedeng impose na yung specific policy on authorship sa mga SUCs kasi sa mga institutions kasi sa inyo po yun. But what we do require is yung tinatawag na i-specify po yung individual contributions to the paper using yung credit roles, no? Ang galing nung acronym credit, contributor roles, taxonomy roles. Yan. Or credit roles. Again, credit, contributor roles, taxonomy. Ano ba ito? Ito ay dinevelop ng makikita nyo dyan. Dinevelop ito noong 2012, no? Ng Harvard University, Wellcome Trust, kasama po yung ICMGE and publishers, no? Kasama yung Elsevier as represented by Self-Press. So yung credit na to, it offered authors the opportunity to share an accurate and detailed description of their diverse contribution to the published work. So parang dito, in attempt na pakita ano exactly yung contribution kung co-author ka dun sa isang paper. So, the corresponding author is responsible for ensuring that the descriptions are accurate and agreed by the author. So, ito yung pinaka-leader, no? Pinaka-leader na author dun sa bunch of authors na nandun sa paper, yung corresponding author, kasi nga siya yung may accountability. And then, nakalista yung roles ng bawat authors. And then, pwedeng maraming multiple roles ng isang author. And then, sabi ko nga, credit in no way changes the journal's criteria to qualify for authorship. So, in our case, ito na yung ina-assume natin na pag dito pumasok yung contribution sa TPJF, okay na po yun. But then, kung meron pong internal authorship policy, then dagdag pa po yun sa kailangan i-specify kung saan ang galing yung paper. So dito sa authorship, again, you can access this one for free. Ayan. So binabanggit nito, ayan, pwede nyo ilagay conceptualization, you can be a co-author, kung naggawa ka ng ideas, no? Formulation of evolution ng research. So even the conceptualization, according to the credit roles, pwede siyang magamit na parameter as co-author. Ano pa? Yung mag-develop ng design ng methodology, create ka ng models. Yung software, ikaw ang gumawa ng software dun sa paper. Validation, formal analysis, investigation, even resources, no? Provision of study materials, reagents, ginawa sa lab mo, lahat ng ito, tag-provide ka nun. Then sinasabi dito na, yes, that it can be a parameter for you to become a co-author. Data curation, no? Writing the original draft, yan. And even writing, pero hindi yung original draft, but reviewing and editing, no? So pwede. Visualization, no? Supervision, project administration, and even funding acquisition. Again, this is specified in the credit roles. You may or may not follow this one depending sa institutional authorship policy nyo. But at least in the TPJF, ito po yung sinusunod naming sort of international standard. So sa TPJF, i-require po yan na ganyan. No? Author contributions, kung sino man yung nasusulat na co-author, kailangan nakaspecify dun sa credit roles ano yung ginawa niya. So si Nicholas J.E., say conceptualization, methodology, writing original draft, etc., and so on and so forth. Right? Klaro po yun. So, ayan. Yan po yung tungkol sa authorship. Tapos, we strongly encourage na gumamit kayo ng, mag-login kayo at gumawa kayo ng account sa ORCID, yung Open Researcher and Contributor ID. Ito yung nagiging parang official link, no? Platform para sa mga author. So that itong yung icon niya, nalalagay po yan sa TPJF. Pag kinlik sa tabi ng pangalan yung pag kinlik yan, pupunta yan automatic dun sa ORCID record nyo. Which dun nakapaloob lahat nung nagawa nyo over the years. No? Ayan. So we do encourage authors to use ORCID. And then, addition of authors, at least sa TPJF is only allowed up to the final proof. No? After hindi na po pwedeng mag-change. Yeah? Tapos, it is understood that all authors have read the journal's publication policy. No? So, ito mga safety net, safety net sa amin, o safety net ng journal in terms of, nakaspecify dito na may mga certain assumptions kaming gagawin and understanding so that ang proof of burden ay nasa inyo, hindi po sa journal. Okay? So, hindi po kami police na titignan bawat isa-isa yung inyong sinubmit. But then, pag meron pong nag-complain, then kami po mag-iimbestiga and you have to stand by your submissions. Pag hindi po nyo na-defend yon, then pwede pong mangyari yung mamaya pag-usapan pa po na. AI-assisted technologies, ayan, this is a new policy sa amin because of the rise of AI nga po, no? Like yung mga chatbots, ChatGPT, at kung ano-ano pa, no? So we do follow yung Council of Science Editors, no? Na policy, no? Na hindi po pwedeng i-list as author or co-author yung, for example, AI or ChatGPT. Kasi nga, yung non-humans cannot be responsible or accountable for the accuracy, integrity, of the originality of work. Kasi nga, hindi mo naman siya matatanong, so non-human siya. So therefore, hindi siya pwedeng author. So sa TPJF, hindi po kayo pwedeng maglagay na co-author nyo ay ChatGPT. Tapos, as stated, the authors retain the copyright published artists without restriction. So, dahil AI cannot transfer copyright in that sense, so talagang hindi talaga po siya pwedeng maging author or co-author. Now, ito po ang importante nyong malaman. Pag magsasubmit po kayo sa TPJF at gumamit kayo ng AI, so it has to be declared, no? I-disclose nyo po sa cover letter kung ano pong AI ang ginamit nyo. So, ang ibig po sabihin to, hindi naman automatic na nag-AI kayo ay i-reject po. Hindi. Ang una pong kailangan nyo gawin ay disclose nyo kung gumamit kayo sa method section, technical specifications ng AI, etc., etc. Pag hindi nyo po dinisclose at nalaman po namin na we found out that you used AI and you did not disclose it, automatic rejection. Right? So, again, hindi po basis for rejection per se yung AI as long as you disclose it. And then, titignan po yan ang decision po ay editorial board tsaka yung mga magre-review po kung karapat dapat po na mag-proceed into submission. No? yung journal. Tapos AI-generated images are not allowed in TPJ without explicit editor permission. No? So may mga exceptions pa rin naman yan kung gagamit tayo ng AI figure because kailangan dun sa experiment. Pero pag hindi, no, kailangan may permission. Again, sabi ko nga, acceptance, revision, or rejection shall be vested upon the editorial board in terms of assessing whether okay siya na i-publish or not. Okay? Hindi po siya automatic. Conflict of interest. Ayan. The author should disclose any conflict of interest that might be perceived to influence the author's objectivity. Ayan. Ito yung tinatawag ng competing interest. For example, meron kang ongoing kumbaga laban sa kabilang lab. Kailangan babanggitin nyo yun. Meron kayong patent ownership na nangyayari, may problema kayo sa fund sources, etc. You have to disclose these competing interests or conflict of interest. No? Again, just so na it's not an automatic sort of automatic disqualification, but at least for in the spirit of transparency, and then the editorial board will decide kung hindi naman ganun ka-significant yung conflict of interest. But you have to declare it. Pag hindi nyo dineclare at nalamang may conflict of interest or competing interest po yan, then parang yung AI, automatic rejection po yan. Okay po? So ano po, declare lang, ano lang. So the moral of the story here, hanggat maaari, huwag po kayong gagamit ng fraudulent data. Kung may AI man, i-disclose nyo na. At huwag kayong magkaroon ng maraming conflict of interest kasi nga, mas nagiging mahirap yung process. Ayan. So conflict of interest, kailangan may ganitong statement, no? Right? So ano po yan. Kasi yan po yung kumbaga safety net for the journal. Data reproducibility, no? Ayan. Dito, nauuso na po yung, ayan, declaration kung saan available yung data. Like, kailangan nilalagay yan somewhere in a repository format, whether it's a data, it's a paper, or for example, sequences sa DNA. So yan, nire-require po yan, may mga accession number. Unti-unti na pong hinihingi po yan. And then, kung wala po talaga, minsan pwede pa naman na hindi pa available yung repository, something like that. But in the future, magkakaroon po yan. So I do hope your institutions are preparing for these kinds of things. Kasi unti-unti na po talaga nire-require yung ganitong repository. Tapos, ethical considerations, ayan po, no? So, ethical considerations, as you know, ayan, mauuna po yung we adhere to the standards, best practices, and then, of course, regulations set by the various Philippine laws and institutions. All right? So, aside from yung ating journal policy, we are heavy on compliant with Philippine laws and institutions. Okay? So, ano po yan? Ano po? So, part kami na kailangan din nagko-comply kung anong specify ng mga batas sa Pilipinas. Okay? Very explicit po yan. So, ibig sabihin, for example, kung ang study nyo ay species, no, regulated under the law, kailangan po may nalalagay na mga statement na ganito. So, kung kailangan nyo ng permit, you have to get the permit and you have to state that permit. Otherwise, pag nalaman po na during the process, meron kayong kailangang permit, hindi kayo kumuha, pwedeng hindi na po ma-accept yung journal. Or worse, na-publish, hindi nyo dineclare. O, sabihin na natin, lumusot sa review, for example, hindi napansin. Hindi po kasalanan ng ano yun kasi nga kailangan nyo i-declare. Once may complaint, i-retract po yung inyong publication. Right? So, yun po yung worst na mangyari sa inyo kasi forever na pong nakatatak sa inyo yun. So, please, for compliance to national laws, you be very, specific to that one. Otherwise, problema po yan. For human subjects, alam po natin yan. It's increasingly very delicate issue. So, ang dami pong kailangan mga ethical statements dyan like this one. Po. Sa DPJF, ito yung nilalagay namin. But maraming institutions ngayon, they do have their ethics board, something like that. So, in addition pa po yun. But at least sa journal, kailangan ipa-declare po yung ganitong klaseng statement. Alright? For studies with animals, ayan. yung mga ethics statement on followed institutional and national guidelines for the care and use of laboratory animals. Very general pa po ito, but you can actually, for example, meron kayong, ano ba yun, ayak ba yun, ng mga clearances, etc. Then, ilalagay nyo po, not the general statement, but actually, ano na, your specific permits na to do these things. Ano po? Para kita talaga na compliant po tayo sa ating mga laws. And then, kung hindi naman nag-carry ng animal human studies, papadeclare pa rin no animal or human studies were carried out by the authors. Kasi nga po, nasa inyo yung burden. Pag meron po nag-complain na may animal kayong ginamit, then we investigate. At pag na-prove yun, pwede po natin i-retract yung paper ninyo. Ngayon, whether meron kayong culpability in terms of your internal policy, sa inyo na po yun. Sa amin, yung retention and retraction lang po dun sa journal. And we'll make sure na yung mga na-retract, nakalagay po dun, na-retract siya at kung bakit siya na-retract. Ganun po yun. So, please. Okay? Plagiarism and misreporting. Ayan. Plagiarism is committed when one author uses another work without permission, credit, or acknowledgement. It takes in different forms, from literary copying or even paraphrasing the work of another. Ayan. So, in judging whether an author has plagiarized, the following list may be used. No? Again, this is just a guidance. Literal copying, ito yung verbatim. Substantial, yung iniikot-ikot nyo lang ng konti, pero actually yung sense, nandun pa rin. Then, please, pag meron, again, nag-complain ng plagiarism, then we will conduct investigation dun sa inyong paper. And then, if we found out na substantive yung plagiarism, then pwede po kayo And by the way, we do check plagiarism, no? Bago siya mag-proceed ng submission, we do have, of course, a app to check plagiarism, how many %. So we do that as an initial survey. Pag lumampas na sa threshold namin, binabalik na yan. And then the other one would be sa AI check. Nalag-check po talaga kami sa AI. Although not at the start, but later on, pag hindi nyo dinisclose, then tsaka kami mag-check. Ayan. So, again, this is part ng ating investigation kung may nag-question dun sa inyong report. So, ganito po yan, no? As an analogy. For example, sa smuggling, marami nag-i-smuggle. Pag kayo po ang nahuli, hindi nyo po pwedeng sabihin, bakit sila yung iba nag-i-smuggle? Hindi po. Kung sino po yung nahuli, kayo po yung may accountability doon. Hindi na po namin alam kung ano nangyayari dun sa iba. So please be very careful with these things. Ano po? Kasi we do investigate and may mga cases na kaming ginawa tungkol dyan. Publication charges, this is no publication fee. This is provided by our government for us to enjoy the benefits of these kinds of platform. Kasi alam naman natin sobrang mahal ng APIs ngayon. And dahil Scopus na po ito, it's free. And the points is, if not the same or a little bit just lower than those with the APIs. Ano po. So, please, kung ako yan, tangkilikin natin sariling atin. It's free and this all for all of you guys. Ano. And in terms of standard, hindi po tayo nahuhuli sa pagdating sa standard because of the indexing. Archival and self-archiving policies, again, no? TPJF, nagde-deposit yan sa Aquadocs tsaka sa NFRDI Digital Repository para alam nyo na hindi lang kami nasa website but actually those very important na treasure yan, mga publications niyo we consider them as treasures and naka-maintain siya sa isang space na safe that will be accessible to everyone. Kasi isang malaking mandate po ng NFRDI sa batas is to become the repository of all fisheries R&D in the country. Alright, so yan, mga link for deposited, etc. And lastly, article withdrawal and corrections, ayan, na po. So sa withdrawal, last na po tayo, is only used for advanced online publication or articles in press. Ibig sabihin, pag pinoprocess pa po siya, may nag-complain o kaya may nakita yung reviewer, and then may cause for then we can allow the authors to withdraw their paper. Or kahit wala naman nakita, nandun pa lang siya sa pwede pa siyang i-withdraw. Okay? Okay po ba yon? Pero pag na-publish na at dun at and then just an example of a withdrawn article is this one, ano po? Of course, I'm not going to talk about um, uh, this thing, no? But meron pong ganito. Ganito po lalabas sa TPJF at Forever po yan ng mga withdrawn, no? This paper for reasons na hindi ko na po babanggitin, no? So marami pong rason yun. Ayaw na ng author or gusto niyang isubmit sa iba, so mga ganun, pwede naman yun. And then, ito na po, if there's suspicion of misbehavior or alleged fraud, ayan, the journal publisher will investigate following COPE guidelines. Okay? If after investigation there are valid concerns, the author's concern will be contacted under the given email address and given an opportunity to address the issue. So may due process po tayo when handling these kinds of cases, misbehavior, alleged fraud emanating from complaints, for example. And ito yung COPE, ito yung Committee on Publication Ethics. We're working on our indexing here. Malapit na, hopefully, no? Meron din siyang indexing yung COPE for journals na compliance sa COPE, but we do follow yung kanilang procedures in terms of these corrections, retractions, complaints, and allegations. Ano po. And then, depending on the situation, this may result in the journal's implementation of the following measures, including but not limited to, if the manuscript is still under consideration, it may be rejected and returned to the author, no? Mga ganyan. Or kung nasa AOP na, pwedeng withdraw. Ayan, if already has been published online, depending on the nature and severity of the infraction, pwedeng erratum, correction, or expression of concern, or in severe cases, retraction of the article may occur. Okay? So, ito po, no? For example, retracted. The reason will be given in the published correction retraction, no? Pag retraction siya. Please note that the retraction means that the article is maintained on the platform, watermark retracted. And then the explanation for it is provided in a note link to the watermark article. Author's name, wala pa naman pong ganito, retracted, no? Hopefully, hindi magkaroon. Kaya lang, syempre, kailangan nating mag-prepare doon kasi mukhang may mga eventualities yan. And authors will be removed in retracted or as agreed upon. So, hindi naman papakita namin. Para may konting humanity naman, hindi po na namin sa TPJF, we're not going to mention the author's names and affiliations. But yung title nandoon, naka-watermark. And then, of course, yung references, you can see that in the journal. And mabilis lang take-home lessons, no? Journal policy is there, it's important, but it's also evolving na po. Kasi nagbabago-bago po yung panahon, like yung AI, bago po yun. That's a new thing. And we're continuously trying to improve, refine the journal policy based on international and local standards and ethics. And lastly, when you do scientific writing or your career path on science, please always read the journal policy of the journal you are submitting to. Na po, pag walang journal policy published yung journal, wag na po kayo mag-submit. Ibig sabihin nun, medyo dubious yan. Alright? Because the journal policy is part and parcel of that system, and it's part and parcel of your safety net, no? For both the journal and the submitter. Okay? So with that, maraming salamat po. I did extend my time a bit. Salamat po. Thank you.